Congratulations, you finally made it to 4 p.m. You know what that means. Happy hour. It's time to kick back, relax, and dive into the world of sports with the Young and Norvelle Show. Whether you're catching up on the latest scores, analyzing the big plays, or gearing up for tonight's games, we've got you covered. So grab a cold one, settle in, and let's talk sports. Here they are, Patrick Young and Terry Norvelle.
All righty, here we go on a Monday. We've got a lot of weekend to review, look back, and a busy week coming up in and around the world of sports. A lot of overlapping this time of year, which is kind of cool as we welcome you to a Monday edition. Terry Norvelle right here. Ben Dobbins producing. We've got a big show, packed show. We hope to hear from Patrick Young a little bit later. He'll be traveling again tomorrow, heading to Charlotte for his SEC basketball media duties. You know, Pat works on Tuesday nights and Wednesday nights during the season. He works, obviously, with the SEC Network, and Pat will break down halftime of a bunch of games Tuesday and Wednesday. We will talk a lot of college basketball, SEC-style basketball, as, the SEC is starting to kind of put the landing gear down on the regular season. We've got about, 2.5 weeks, I guess, left of the regular season. And then the entire conference will meet up in Nashville, and a lot of programs don't even want to be there. Some need to be there. Some need to win it all there. But a bunch of programs, Florida, Auburn, Alabama, gosh darn, A&M could benefit. Tennessee could benefit from a nice long run. But, boy, most of your top-tier SEC teams, I don't even think they want to go to Nashville. I mean, they'd rather go right to March Madness. Now, you don't want to ever lose a game on purpose, but I don't think it would hurt too many teams' feelings if that SEC basketball tournament, if you're Auburn, Florida, Alabama, and you go 1-1, you get a double bye, you move to Friday night, you win one, lose one, get on a plane and head back home. So, a lot of college basketball as we welcome Mr. Ben Dobbins. Ben, I don't see myself. Shouldn't I see myself? I don't see myself right there in the screen. And I'm a guy, I know, Ben, we don't know each other real well, but I like to see myself. Ben, I'm handsome. I just turned 60. Ben, just turned 60 years old, and I want to see my 60-year-old.
What can you see?
I see stream is currently starting, and it's kind of frozen right there, Ben. Ben, I want to see me. Ben, me. I know Patrick Young will tell you different, but I'm the star of this show. And when in doubt, show Terry. When in doubt, show Terry. So I'm sure you'll work on that as we get kicked off on a Monday. Nothing out of Jaguar camp. I know Jaguar fans are kind of waiting. I know the next thing to happen is the official hiring of a general manager. Looks like 5 have made the final cut. I think you'll have a Jaguar general manager named by Friday at the latest. I'm sure 1 or 2 guys are probably in right now, and will be in over the next day or two. Jaguars, really the next thing they need to do is get a general manager in place, and then it becomes, I don't want to say dicey, but it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. The NFL is in a youth movement. I'll give you that. The Sean McVays and some of the other coaches, McDonald, I think, is 36. Liam Cohen, never been a head coach, 39. It's a youth movement. The Jaguars, though, they've taken that to the next level in terms of, they've got young coordinators, young head coach. They've got never before been coordinator and young. Ooh, there's a lot of risk, if you ask me, a lot of risk. And you can't discount the fact that I know everybody in this town loves Tony Baselli. Good for Tony, great guy. Mr. Jaguar, Tony Baselli is a 52-year-old rookie executive in an NFL franchise. He's and a lot of people are going to say all off season, well, that's a great move. Tony Baselli, great coming back into the fold with the Jaguars. He loves the Jaguars. He was a former player. He was an offensive line. That's wonderful. I hope it works. But, guys, there's much more to it than that. If that was the case, every franchise would appoint their number one son in a position like that. We'll see. There is a lot. There's not only a lot of youth sprinkled around the top of the Jaguar, the decision makers, the big time decision makers. There's a lot of youth and a lot of inexperienced youth. We'll see. We will see. A lot of your draft prognostications are starting to lean. I don't know if they're starting to lean, but kind of leaning my way. If I'm the Jaguars, two numbers come to mind, 5 and 32. I would use number 5, the number 5 pick on an offensive lineman, and I would use a bunch of my $32 million cap space on another offensive lineman. I would go offensive lineman, OL, and more OL. I don't think there's any doubt where the Jaguars should go. They've got to work on this offensive line. Just my thought. We've got a long time to talk about that. So, SEC basketball, a lot of stuff happened over the weekend. Really a anticlimactic 1 versus 2 game. Alabama hosted Auburn, and Ben, I don't think you're a big basketball guy. Did you happen to watch Alabama-Auburn? You know, it was 1 versus 2, first time in the history of the SEC. You happen to see that, Ben?
No, I didn't.
No, did not.
Nope.
Did not. Auburn beat them up pretty good. Alabama made a late run and tied it at 65, but I thought Auburn dominated the game. And the game was in Tuscaloosa. Auburn made another statement. Boy, they've had a hell of a year. They've played a lot of good teams, and they've beaten just about everybody. But Auburn, I thought, won the game going away from the opening tip. It was 9-0 right out of the gate, and I never really felt like, even when Alabama tied the game relatively late, it ended up in the 90s. The game was, Auburn won like 92-84 or something like that. Alabama tied it. I think it was at 65, but I'm telling you, the way the game played out, I never felt like Alabama was winning, even though they were on their home court. I thought Auburn played a really, really good game, and they probably deserve the number 1 ranking. If you haven't heard, the AP poll came out today, the newest basketball poll. And keep in mind, polls don't matter. You have a selection committee. You have a tournament. Auburn is still the clear number 1 team in the nation. The Florida Gators are number 2. Florida is sitting at number 2 in the country in basketball. And you know what? I just said basketball polls really don't matter. You've got a legitimate 6-game tournament. You've got to win 6 games in March Madness, and you will cut the nets down. There's no way around that. One team will win 6 games in a row in March Madness, and that one team will be the national champion. There is no way around that. But I will say this. For a program like Florida, for a program like Auburn is now sitting at the number 1 spot, 6 weeks in a row now? Tennessee occupied it for a little while. Auburn's got it. Florida is number 2. I will say this. If you are a non-blue blood basketball program like Florida, and I know the Gators have 2 national titles, but they are not a historic Duke, North Carolina, Kentucky, Indiana, UCLA back in the day. If you're a program like Florida, I think there's great value as you are really, really rebuilding your program and you want to be at the top of college basketball. I think it's important that Florida gets ranked 2nd in the country. I think it would be important for Florida to spend weeks as number 1. I think there's value in that for a non-blue blood program trying to ascend to the top of college basketball. Again, they have a tournament, and the tournament, everything's played out on the court. I get all that, but I think it's valuable. I think Florida sitting at 2. I mean, 2's not 1, but 2 is way up there. And learned college basketball people that really follow the game. And I don't care if that's a broadcaster or just a hardcore fan. Earlier today, when this latest AP poll came out, and Auburn is still sitting at 1, coming off their big win over Alabama, Florida has moved from a tie at 3rd to 2nd. Florida is in number 2 spot by themselves. If you are a learned college fan or official, I think you look at Florida sitting at 2 and you go, okay, they are 2, and they're really good. They beat Auburn. They beat the team sitting 1, Auburn. Florida went into their gymnasium and beat Auburn a couple of Saturdays ago. I think there's value in that. I think there is real value in that. Florida, really nice performance against South Carolina. The Gators have 3 more what I think are really winnable games in a row, starting with this past Saturday. They beat South Carolina up pretty good. Florida will play midweek tomorrow against Oklahoma. That should be a win. Florida then goes on the road for 2 games on the road in the SEC, but neither team is ranked, LSU or Georgia, and neither team right now is in March Madness. So Florida, if they can hold serve the next 3 games, all they do is kick back and watch the top of the conference knock itself off. We'll go over the schedule here momentarily and look around at the rest of the SEC. Busy week, busy Saturday, I should say, for the SEC in basketball. But staying with the Gators, boy, it was nice to see Handlogten. Micah Handlogten came back, and excuse me, I still got this chest cold pollen thing working. If you watched the Gator game this past Saturday, Mike Handlogten, the big center, he played Saturday, and he was pretty effective. He's got to get his wind back a little bit. He's still huffed and puffed a little bit, as you would expect. But that is a big move for Florida. It looks like, if you watched the game Saturday, Alex Condon moved around pretty good. I think he did have a brace on his ankle, but he wasn't on crutches. He was cheerleading. He was up. He was down. He was in his chair. He was out of his chair. It wasn't like he was immobilized and told not to move. Alex Condon, without my medically trained eye, I would think Condon is going to miss another 2 games max, and he's going to play. When Florida gets their entire roster healthy, and I think they're very close. Elijah Martin played the other night. They've added 7'1", legitimate 7'1" Micah Handlogten to the big rotation. Condon, I would guess, just guessing, but man, he moved around good. I don't think Condon's out for that many more games. They may precautionary keep him out. I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. I've seen Auburn play a lot of basketball. I've seen Alabama play a lot of basketball. I saw Tennessee beat Florida by 20 in Knoxville. I've seen Duke. I watched a lot of the Duke basketball game where they beat Auburn as well. Auburn's lost a couple games, 1 to Florida and 1 to Duke. Auburn lost to Duke in Raleigh. You don't play Duke in Raleigh necessarily, or Durham in March Madness. You're not going to play Auburn in March Madness. You're not playing Kentucky in Rupp. I'm going to say it now. All things equal, if every team in America is pretty healthy, and I get somebody may miss a game here or there, or you may have a tweak here and there, but if every team, college basketball, Division I team across the country is basically healthy, and if they all play each other on a neutral court, which is what March Madness is, I think Florida's the best team in the country. I think Florida has ascended to the best team in the country. I think now they will be as or the deepest team in the country, and I think Florida can beat a bunch of teams a bunch of different ways. And I know that's a hellacious target to put on Florida's back, but I'm telling you, I think, and one factor that I'm throwing in that is, don't look now, but I think Todd Golden knows what the hell he's doing on the sideline. I think Todd Golden can coach him up. I've seen him pull some strings. I've seen him look for some things. I've seen him try different things, and a lot of times it works. I think Todd Golden is an asset on the sideline. I think he's dialed in. I think he understands his team. He understands what they do well, what they don't do well, and more importantly, I think Todd Golden has a feel for coaching. And every coach doesn't have that feel. What was it? It was the first Florida-South Carolina game. Not Saturday night when the Gators routed them in Gainesville. The first one. I think this was the first game. Florida wasn't playing great. They were in Columbia, and the Gamecocks were giving Florida hell, and the big man down low was playing well, and Florida was off rhythm, and just nothing was going well. They made it to halftime, and they were still sputtering a little bit. And Todd Golden, he did something they haven't done all year, and it worked. He, A, played a hunch, and B, put on a three-quarter court press. He started pressing South Carolina a little bit, and it changed the game. He turned them over, it changed the tempo, and Florida won that game as well. I think Florida's got a dynamic, young basketball coach to go with. Gosh darn, I think Florida's got who's got a better roster, top to bottom, than the Florida Gators in college basketball? Gators have lost 3 games, all to very quality opponents. They lost at home. Their worst loss is to Missouri in Gainesville. And I don't mean that disparagingly toward Missouri. Missouri is ranked and has been ranked almost all year. They're a good basketball team. Florida, that's their ugly loss because you don't want to give away losses on your home court. They lost way back, the opening conference basketball game. They lost to Kentucky in Lexington. And obviously, Florida lost the aforementioned game by 20 points on the road in Knoxville to Tennessee. Well, don't look now. I'll pull these up. So those are your 3 losses for the Gators. 1 at home, 2 on the road. But let's dive deeper. And I'm throwing all this out because I think Florida's the best team in the country. I think they've got the deepest roster. Now, it takes a hell of a lot to win a championship. It's hard to win championships. I don't care what sport, what you're talking about. It is hard to win championships. Let's take a look here. I just gave you the 3 teams. Florida is what, 21-3, 22-3, whatever they are. Some gaudy record. But they're 3 losses. Let's take a peek here. Florida's 3 losses. Let me find the rankings here. I want to see where they're sitting at right now. Okay. The men's AP poll just came out. Auburn won, 59 first place votes, 23-2. Florida 2, 1 first place vote, 22-3, but Florida does have a win over Auburn. Duke is 3, Alabama is 4. They dropped a couple spots after their loss. Tennessee is 6. So Florida has 1 loss to the 6th ranked team in the country. You can look around and Kentucky, they had a tough week. They dropped 2 spots. Kentucky's 17th in the country. And Missouri is 15th. So Florida's 3 losses are to 6, 15, and 17. The Gators have wins over number 1, Auburn, on Auburn's court. And their other big win is over number 6, Tennessee, when Tennessee was 14-0, ranked number 1 in the nation. Florida beat them by 30 in Gainesville. And my goodness gracious, you look at the AP poll. Again, let's just walk through the SEC. The poll just came out. Auburn 1, Florida 2, Alabama 4, Tennessee 6, Texas A&M. Oh, by the way, people have forgotten all about them. They're 7th in the country. 20-5 are the Aggies. Kentucky 17-8. They are 17th in the country. Mississippi State, fresh off a real nice win against Ole Miss. They're 21st in the country. And Ole Miss, speaking of that loss, they are 24th in the country. Ooh. Woo. Ooh, ooh, ooh. What a season for college basketball. All right, let's start thinking about taking a break here. Other things we want to get to. Ben Dobbins, you are from the mean streets of Orlando. Orlando, Ben.
Yes, I am.
That's where you crack heads and stuff, right? Down there in O-Town?
Yep.
Yeah. Did you crack any heads today? When's the last time you've been to Orlando?
I think. Well, I went to. During the Super Bowl, I went down with my friends.
Okay. Went down. Crack any heads?
Nope.
Mean streets?
Nope. Went to Universal.
Nobody tried you, did they?
Nope.
No, they know better, right? So you're from Orlando. That is NBA country down there.
Yep.
Total number of minutes NBA All-Star Game weekend festivities that you watch. Total zero. Me too. Word is, it's much like the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
It's just about dead. They've tried everything, haven't they?
Yeah.
Have you also heard that basically, and I can understand how this happens. You know, life works in stages. A lot of times things come and go. I mean, there's a reason, you know, the car that was cool 20 years ago is not cool. The band that was on the top of the chart is not, right? Things change.
Yeah.
The NBA slam dunk contest is all but dead, right? It appears that the younger generation watching. Let me back up. There's only so much you can do dunking a basketball with basket and ball.
This one was definitely entertaining. I know. I saw I didn't watch it live, but I definitely saw some of the dunks. And there's one McClung, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
The guy who won it. That guy's good. He plays for the Magic. I mean, he doesn't.
Yeah.
He's on their G League team.
But
he's good.
I get all that. But when you're bringing cars onto the court and all. There's a phrase in television called "jump the shark." It would appear that the NBA dunk contest has jumped the shark. The players don't even want to do the dunk contest. They all just want to shoot. And a couple of them talked about it. Other than bringing props onto the court, there's only so much you can do dunking a basketball through a hoop 10 feet in the air, one human being. It kind of reminds me a little bit the Major League Baseball Home Run Derby. And I played baseball. I love baseball. It's a great game. And I think what's killed the dunk contest is the same thing. The Home Run Derby, you can only do so much watching a big, strong guy hit a 80-mile-an-hour batting practice fastball thrown by his pitcher over a fence, right? I mean, it's kind of repetitive. Well, I think what made people, Ben, 20, 30, 40 years ago, I think what made people like me really watch the dunk contest and the home run hitting contest. When I got to see Julius Erving flying through the air and Michael Jordan doing his thing with the tongue through the air, right? And Clyde Drexler and all these high-flying guys. And same thing with the home run derby. You saw those guys in the 70s and the 80s. Well, you saw them on that magical Tuesday or Monday night when the derby was going on. Well, Ben, if we go way back, nowadays, you can consume in a given week, if you're an NBA fan, which you are, it's not hard for you to dial up what were the 25 greatest dunks in the NBA this week. This week, right? So you see them, and you see them, and you see them, and I see them, and everybody sees them. And when we watch ESPN, we see them, and we've seen them for decades. Same with the home run derby. I used to watch the home run derby, the All-Star home run hitting contest, because it was rare that I got to see Hank Aaron hit a home run. If he was on the Saturday game of the week or Monday night, right? So Man, of course I was going to dial in that Monday night and watch Willie Stargell and Hank Aaron and Carl Yastrzemski and Reggie Jack. We see it all now, Ben.
Yep.
I think we've seen so many incredible dunks that it's lost its fastball.
Yeah.
That make any sense?
Yeah. Even if the Stars still did it, I still think, like you
Yeah.
said, it's all been seen before,
Yeah.
kind of. I mean,
Yeah.
McClung had the jump over the car, and it
Yeah.
was definitely the best dunk over the car, but it was better than Blake Griffin.
He's not even in the NBA.
He's not even in the NBA. He makes more money off the dunk contest than he has his whole NBA career.
He's not
in the
even
G League.
in the NBA. Yeah, it's and I'm not knocking the younger generation. It's just I think it is just what it is.
Yeah.
We've seen so many incredible dunks that in 1987, I didn't get to see Michael Jordan was becoming Michael Jordan. He was 3-4 years into the league. It took him 6 to win a title, but he was maturing into his body and this freak-ass athlete. I watched the dunk contest in 87 and 92 because, frankly, I didn't get to see him fly through the air that much. Now it's big deal. The other thing, the three-point shot, I mean, think about what the three-point shot has over the dunk. All the guys want to do, number one, you get one more point, right? In game situation, that shot gives you one more point. And frankly, now, you've got to have skill and you've got to work your talent. But, Ben, you and I can go on a basketball court right now and you and I can hoist up three-point shots. I'm not saying we're going to make them. Ben, I'm not saying we're going to make them. Now, we can practice our ass off and start making them, but you and I cannot, any way, shape, or form, go on that basketball court and dunk.
Nope.
We can't ugly dunk. We can't have the dunk get rejected. We can't pretty dunk. We can't dunk, meaning everybody can hoist a three-pointer. And I wonder if that factors in as well.
I mean, it's definitely took a toll on the league. 100%.
Yeah, and I'm not saying this is wrong. Things change.
Yep.
Life changes, sports change. But the dunk, or we might be seeing the death of the dunk unless the NBA can figure out a way to put more value on it. Other than an and one, the dunk's 2 points. The three-point shot, if it goes in, guess what? That's one more point. You wonder. But man, and the game of basketball has evolved away from the lane. Basketball forever was played by working the ball around, trying to get it to your big man down low and work your offense out of that. Not anymore. And the big guys can shoot now. The big guys, all they could do was, their game was 5 foot and in, right? Their game was 5 feet away from the basket and in. I'm not saying it's bad, but I think the NBA dunk contest, I mean, they interviewed a bunch of star players, and just about to a man, they go, the dunk's just, everybody shoots three-pointers. What was the baseball? Chicks dig the long ball. Remember that? They had a big, when baseball came back from the steroid and all, and the home run helped bring baseball back. Baseball, one of their marketing ploys, chicks dig the long ball. And their whole marketing was showing that people want to see the home run. People wanted to see the home run. Well, in basketball, the home run of all home runs now is that 26-foot bomb, right? You're like, how many steps was he behind the three-point line? My God. And to the players' credit, they're all much more talented shooting the ball from long range. All right, let's take a break here. One down, a long way to go. We're going to take it out of bounds here in a moment. The lighter side of sports. We like to do it on Mondays with our buddy Mike Freed. We'll do that on the other side. Terry Norvelle, Ben Dobbins producing. Stay with us right here for more of the Young and Norvelle Show on Action Sports Jacks.
At Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, we know pain and injuries can stop you from doing what you love. This is why our board-certified orthopedic specialists offer the latest in both non-surgical and surgical treatment options and create a treatment plan tailored to your unique lifestyle and goals. So, whether it is a sports injury or that nagging pain that's keeping you from doing what you love, our team has the right treatment for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dynamic Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
The Action Sports Jax 24/7 network is streaming. I'm Stuart Weber, and I'm here to teach you a nice 3-step process on how you can watch all your favorite programming from the Brent and Austin Show every weekday 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. or the Cup Date with me. It's fantastic. We talk NASCAR. It's a great time. Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. All right, first step, easy. Download the Action News Jax app. You probably already have it downloaded on your phone, so you might already have that one taken care of. Step 2, see that stack of pancakes up there? You click that stack of pancakes, and it's going to bring down step number 3, which is a full screen of all the different streams that you can click on, including the Action Sports Jax 24/7 stream. You click that, the video's rocking and rolling on your mobile device. You're watching all the shows you want to, and you're having a good time. You can also do it on your smart TV with the Action News Jax Now app. I do it on my Samsung TV at home. It's a great way to watch it on a nice, large screen for all the content. That's the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Hope you can find it.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242.
You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing.
Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Maybe you need a new tankless water heater or something a bit more intricate. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
Terry Norvelle coming to you from our wonderful, beautiful Action Sports Jax studio. Ben Dobbins producing today and tomorrow. Our buddy Casey is out. He'll be back, I guess, next week. And Ben, I'm stuck with you. I mean, we've got you next week too, right? Next week on a Monday or Tuesday.
Monday, I think.
Yeah,
I think Monday.
So Big Ben Dobbins producing. We'll obviously have Zach Rothrock Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You know Zach. He's he's helped train you a little bit. Big South Carolina Gamecock fan, and the the Gamecock men's basketball team, they're winless in the SEC.
Really?
How about that? They may go bagel for the season.
He's not happy.
Ugh, not good. And Zach, he hangs his hat on the women Gamecocks, right? Because they're real good, right? Defending champions, I think. They've hit a bit of a skid. I think UConn knocked them off. So, we'll see. Basketball is really about to take over now. Certainly in our parts, we've got the Players Championship. Do you go to that much? Are you much of a Players Championship guy?
I worked there last. I worked last year.
What'd you have to do?
I just did volunteering for it. I
nice.
worked the fan shop. So I'll probably do that this year.
Now, did you do that out of the philanthropic part of your heart, or there had to be some kind of something in it for you?
I know. It helps my resume, the
Okay.
players.
All right.
Pretty cool in there. and I know you get a voucher to golf on the course.
Okay.
So that's why a lot of people did it. I don't play golf. So
Okay. So what did you have to do last year?
I just worked the fan shop, like basically did cash register and did stuff in the back and helped out.
Do they use cash at all anymore, or is it all plastic?
No, just all card.
All right. How'd you do?
It was easy. I'm doing it this year.
Meet any cool golfers?
No, I know someone cash register. You had a golfer at their cash register, but not me.
What day? I mean, are you out there like Tuesday through Sunday, or
I think I'm gonna be out there every day but Wednesday in the morning.
Look at you. You're like me. I'm a helper. You know, you just try to help people. You care about humanity and mankind, don't you?
Yep.
Do they give you decent parking, or what do you do for parking?
There's a lot, like a dirt lot, and then we have to walk a little bit. But
damn it, bastards! Put you in the dirt lot.
Yep.
So you're not a big golfer?
Nope.
I'm getting back. I've yet to play around, but I'm getting back into the game. I've been to the range probably 7 or 8 times. By the way, I went to Top Golf again this past Saturday. Does that count? I hit probably 20 shots. I didn't feel real good.
I've been there twice, and I'm not that good.
Yeah,
really
it's fun. We my daughter took me back. I had one of those stupid birthdays over the weekend. Really stupid. Is that thing gonna continue the whole time I'm on this side of the dirt? I guess.
Yep.
Like birthdays, but anyway, that's where my daughter got. I was asked for my daughter's hand in marriage there a couple months ago. So my daughter was kind enough, and her and her fiance, they took me back out to Topgolf on Saturday. So I guess that's not on the range, but I didn't feel great. I probably hit 15, 20 balls. That is a neat concept they've got, you know.
Right.
I'm a little paranoid, though. Awful lot of drinking in a confined space. And I get it. People drink on a golf course. But, you know, golf course, number one, you only have to worry about 3 other people, right? If you're in a foursome, there's 3 other people besides you. And you're in a big space. The Top Golf worries me a little bit. There's an awful lot of drinking in a confined space with clubs being swung at high rates of speed.
They probably have pretty good insurance.
Yes, they would. I will say this. I ended up looking this up when Top Golf first showed up here in Jacksonville. That whole concept, I went, whoa, that just sounds a little risky to me. And I looked it up. You can look it up now if you want, Zach. I'm sorry, not Zach. Ben. There are entire, and our buddy Mike Freed, we could maybe ask him about this. He's an attorney. There are entire law firms that all they deal is with Top Golf, injuries, and who was right, who was wrong, right? I mean, I'm talking about their entire firms. All they do is advertise. Have you been hurt at Top Golf, and it wasn't your fault? Were you put in a bad situation?
Yeah, I see that.
You see some of those?
Yeah.
How about that? It's its own industry.
Lawsuits against Top Golf for preventable injuries.
Yeah.
Greenville law.
Yeah. I'm not going to say when I looked that up, it didn't surprise me, but it did surprise me a little bit. But I mean, obviously they run a lot of people through.
Oh yeah.
So, and accidents are accidents in some cases, but some of them,
Top Golf injuries. Why have 3 people lost their eyes?
Oh,
that doesn't seem very fun.
Oh,
I'm not clicking that.
If you do, anyway. I like Top Golf. Let me qualify that. I like it. But the whole concept, it's awfully tight quarters. And again, man, don't get me wrong. Drinking on a golf course is almost like hand in glove kind of, right? But again, man, you're spread out, right? And I kind of know myself. All I got to worry about is 3 other idiots, right, in my fourth. Anyway, hey, Gator football, they have a new defensive back coach, Darren or Darren. I don't know if it's pronounced Darren or Darren Wilson, has been hired as the defensive back coach. Why, do you ask? The Florida Gators need a defensive back coach. Why would you think they need a defensive back coach at this point, as we are weeks away from spring football practice? Well, they just lost Will Harris. Will Harris, the defensive back coach, just left last week and went to the Miami Hurricanes. Very odd situation. And frankly, it might work out well for Florida. This is not the way you want to run your program, man. This was a weird timing. Will Harris brought in several quality, it appears, defensive backs during the recruiting period. And just an awkward, another awkward, unconventional situation with the Florida football program and Billy Napier. We got into this a little bit last week. We can do it a little bit later today. I want to bring Brent Beard back on about 5:30. But Billy Napier, he does things, he runs his program very unconventional. Unconventional doesn't mean wrong. But when you do things in your industry unconventional, in an industry that's been around for, college football is 160 some odd years old. When you do things unconventional and they work, well, then I think you're called cutting edge and you're ahead of the game and you've got foresight. When you do things in an industry that's been around as long as college football, when you buck the system like Billy Napier has and you don't win at a big rate, well, then you're probably going to be considered not good at what you do, not smart. I'm rooting for the guy, but it is hard to keep the faith with Billy Napier. He does so many things that just about no one in the 165 years of college football has done. Is he that much ahead of the curve? Or is he a guy that just doesn't know what he's doing and he's throwing spaghetti on the wall and praying that some stuff sticks? I don't know. It's really, really hard to follow Napier right now. All right, let me get back to college basketball, SEC basketball. Certainly, you can't talk college basketball this year without talking SEC basketball. A lot of stuff happened over the weekend. First and foremost, you folks tell me if I watched the game wrong. I thought Auburn dominated Alabama. It was 9-0 right out of the gate. Alabama was hanging on by a thread most of the game. They fought back and tied it up with 7 or 8 minutes left. Alabama tied it at 65, and Auburn just proceeded. I think the next trip down, they daggered a 3-point shot that went in. I thought Auburn dominated Alabama in Tuscaloosa. Other games over the weekend from the SEC on Saturday, a big comeback win for Tennessee. Tennessee was at home Saturday entertaining Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt jumped all over the Vols, and Tennessee's not playing great basketball right now. Tennessee is treading water. They're not going to get a 1 seed, it doesn't appear. Tennessee, though, with the type of year they've had, remember, they were 14-0 and number 1 in the country for several weeks. They got to 14-0. Florida beat them by 30. Tennessee has gone like 7-5 their last 12 games. They were getting punched in the mouth at home Saturday against Vanderbilt. Tennessee, a gutty comeback win. They really needed that win at home because don't look now. Anything from a 3 seed on will be a little bit of a disappointment for Tennessee. If Tennessee can't at least get a 2, they're probably not going to get a 1 seed. If Tennessee doesn't get at least a 2 seed, a little bit of a disappointment. Tennessee is in a neck and neck fight with Texas A&M right now. Don't look now, but Texas A&M is like 7th in the country. They are basically tied with Tennessee in the SEC standings, and either A&M or Tennessee is probably going to get a second seed. Tennessee, a big comeback win Saturday. Texas A&M had a nice win. Tell you who else had a big win Saturday was the Texas Longhorns. Texas is trying to grab one of, if not the last spots for the SEC. Texas, a big win over Kentucky. Mississippi State had a huge win. Mississippi State in the Basketball Egg Bowl in Oxford. Mississippi State rolled into Ole Miss and got a win there. That was a win over a ranked Ole Miss team. I still think the SEC gets 12 in. I know there's talk about 13 or 14. When it settles down, I think the SEC will get 12 of 16 teams in March Madness. All right, let's take a break here. We're going to take it out of bounds a little bit. The lighter side of sports, we like to do it on Mondays. Our buddy Mike Freed is here, and we may even throw him. Boy, there was a really big Title IX decision that came down late last week. It was really buried in the news. I think it's big. I think it has the chance to really be big. And colleges and universities around the country are breathing a sigh of relief. We'll try to get into that with Mike as well. We're wrapping up hour number 1. It is a Monday. The Young and Norvelle Show continues on Action Sports Jacks.
For those dealing with pain from a sports injury, arthritis, or spine condition, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists offers innovative new non-surgical options. Our regenerative medicine treatments, including platelet-rich plasma and other regenerative treatments, use your body's own restorative cells to aid in treating injuries. These procedures are performed in our offices and typically require minimal downtime. If you want to get back to doing what you love, our regenerative treatment options may be right for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jacks to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jacks in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jacks 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms, whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV. You can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry. We still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jacks 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
It's a new logo, new branding. With Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville. It's hot, Florida in the summer. You can't do much to avoid it, but you can keep cool with Bold City Heating and Air. It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who's coming to your house. You know they will be well trained, and they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at BoldCityAC.com. Stay cool while it gets hot. Bold City Heating and Air can help. Don't get caught sweating all summer. BoldCityAC.com, and they have financing to help. New systems starting at $110 a month and $50 off any repairs. Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bold City Heating and Air at BoldCityAC.com. Homegrown in your hometown.
All right, let's get out of bounds here. We take it out of bounds on Mondays a lot of times. We like to shake things up and look at the lighter side of sports because, frankly, it is sports, for God's sakes. It's not that big of a deal. Terry Norvelle here. Mike Freed, our buddy, joins us, along with, of course, Ben Dobbins producing. We'll have Brent Beard about 5:30. So you're kind of the opening act for Brent Beard.
Oh, am I?
Mike, how about that? Let's get Mike on. Is he on? 1, 2, 3.
Hello. Oh, there I am.
Oh, Barry White just showed up.
Yeah, how about that? I'm the opening act. How about that?
How about that?
I don't mind that.
But
I've been the opening act for worse.
You know Brent Beard.
I do. That'd be nice. Where's the camera? Is that the
guy,
camera?
I don't know. There's no. I actually don't even think we're on.
Oh, really?
They just tell me to come
They just
in
draw
here.
stick figures.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. I always thought we should do that with politicians.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like just tell them they won and then put them in a room.
You won.
And then go govern.
Some would say that was done with Biden for 4 years.
Yeah.
Oh.
That is.
Mike Freed, our buddy here. What in the world did you do this weekend? You know, most people, first time they mowed the yard of the spring, kind of, washed the car, washed the dog. What did you do this weekend?
Well, keep in mind, it was Valentine's weekend, and I have no one with whom to celebrate presently. So I was thinking, what could I do? Now, I do ultra marathons. I started doing ultra marathons.
Because a marathon is not enough for you.
It's plenty. It's just a different type of thing.
Describe what a ultra marathon is.
I've heard different definitions, but basically an ultra marathon is anything longer than a marathon. Sometimes it's a certain distance, point to point. Sometimes it's a certain amount of time. There's even things like I've done journey runs where you do a marathon a day for a certain number of days.
I've heard of that.
But this one was a 48-hour run, and you just go as far as you can around about a 1.3 mile area.
Now, you start, and then 48 hours later the clock stops, so
Correct.
you can decide when you catch your breath, sit down.
Yeah, take a nap. A little bit.
Do you have a support team with you? Or?
Different people do it different ways. Certainly.
How did you do it? Did you do a knapsack? Did you do?
I brought a tent and a little cot and to stretch out on.
You pitched a tent.
Pitched a little tent, and but I didn't use it much. And then they do have support, especially.
So your tents and all are. You're doing the course over and over again. You're passing your tent 1,000,000 times. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, about 80 times. It's well supported though, because you come through the middle and.
Anybody have a teepee?
They're cooking. No teepees.
Teepee would be great, wouldn't it?
There's people cooking burgers. There's
Seriously.
food. There's all kinds. Because you could eat whatever you want. You're like a furnace, basically.
So, do you know how far you traversed over 48 hours?
I do. I did.
How do you know that? I mean, do you have some on your
there's
ankle?
a counter. You got a little chip. So
okay,
it's highly competitive.
Like a regular
chip
start race.
So I got 100.5 miles in.
Was your goal 100 miles?
My goal was 100, and I actually
in 48 hours.
Yeah, I actually stopped at about 39 hours and change because the rain was coming, and I got my goal, and I was tired.
So you showed up Friday?
Friday at 4 o'clock p.m.
4 p.m.
Ran through the
and
night.
Gun went off.
Gun goes off. You run. It gets dark. It gets cold.
What kind of course? I mean, is it just?
It's the.
It was in Middleburg, you said.
This one was in Middleburg. I've done them all over the place, but this one was in Middleburg. It was a large series of soccer fields, really, but some trails and a little bit of nature. You could say.
So you had to go the designated direction?
Yeah,
You couldn't just do your own thing?
No, it's hundreds of people, and everybody's going along the trail.
Any issues? Were there any bears, or anybody see a bear? Or anything?
There was an alligator in the lake. But
Anybody get bit?
He didn't seem. No, not that I'm aware of.
Were you throwing your business cards as you ran?
I did not throw.
No.
Did I throw business cards?
No.
I promoted some comedy shows.
Okay.
Promoted my charity.
Did you do this with anyone?
I didn't do it with anyone that I went with, but it is a community of people that I've seen before. I'll tell you, it's funny when you do things like this. It just shows you. It's like golfers, right? Like, some really good golfers that are maybe one shot away from being professional. But the difference between them and the true professionals is night and day. So I've done a lot of runs. I've done 100-mile runs. I've done 48-hour runs. I've done 6 marathons in 6 days. There's a lady there who, for 15 years, held the record for the quickest run from California to New York. She did it in like 56 days. So basically, like 50 miles a day.
In a covered wagon, for God's sake.
No, she's a young lady. I mean, she's, in our age range, let's say.
Should we buy her a plane ticket?
Yeah,
I mean, does she know about air travel?
There are other ways to do it.
Right.
But anyway, my point is, 100 miles is beyond what most people would expect to be possible. But in the ultra community, 100 miles is, it's like they do that every weekend.
What got you turned on to that? Obviously, you did marathons, and that literally wasn't enough. I want to push myself a little further.
No, long story short is 2016, I decided I wanted to raise money for Jacksonville Area Legal Aid to help people that can't afford legal services. And I'm a good idea person.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'll do a Forrest Gump thing. I'll just run across the state. And fast forward 8 months, I had never run a marathon, and I ran from Tallahassee to Jacksonville.
Did you have good thoughts on, when you run, when I run,
Yeah.
But did you have anything to scribe down or talk into?
Your phone. People would come and join me a little bit along the way, but we raised 66.
So how far do you think you did the same loop, kind of?
Yeah.
How was it? 2-mile loop?
1.3 miles.
Good Lord, you must have got sick of doing that.
Now we do it every year. Freed to Run, which is what my charity's come to be called, is now a 24-hour run around downtown Jacksonville the weekend before Thanksgiving.
Other than you ran 100 miles in 48 hours, is boredom the biggest factor? I mean, loop and loop and loop and around. And
pain, really. I mean,
how many shoes? Just one pair of shoes?
2 pairs of shoes. I rotated them. They were pretty new. Got some new insoles.
And how was the weather?
The weather was pretty good running weather. There wasn't a lot of sun during the day. At night, it got cold enough to be comfortable running, and you could get some good miles in. It did rain yesterday afternoon, which is why I headed out. But other than that, it was
temperature started getting cold yesterday. Was that?
It got down to maybe 50s some of the time, but when you're running, that's not a bad temperature.
How much during this 2-day ultra marathon?
Yeah.
How many hours do you think you slept? I mean, you're sleeping in a tent on the hard.
Yeah. I slept 4.5. I gave myself a couple of hour-and-a-half long naps, which included some time to freshen up.
Did you get to sleep?
Yeah. I had trouble waking back up.
Did you have to set your?
Yeah, definitely an alarm. Yeah, because I mean,
Ben, you hearing this? You hearing this, Ben?
Yeah, it's kind of insane.
Yeah, pretty much. He said the same.
It's crazy, but it's a shout out to Sombrero Running Events. They put this on. They put other ultra runs.
Oh, you got to wear a big sombrero?
You do not, but he does. This guy, Mike, who is the proprietor of it, and it's a really fun community. If you haven't been out to one of those, especially when they're for charitable events, they are a lot of fun.
And takes a lot of volunteers, probably. They got to keep an eye on the course. So.
Yeah, some RVs out there. You get to camp out. Like when we do our one at the courthouse, people are camping out on the courthouse lawn, which,
That's a good lawn.
It is a nice lawn, and people don't go to the courthouse for very many nice things. So it's fun to do that.
Yeah, man, that's pretty cool.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Thanks for asking. So you wanted to talk about
I don't know. What do you want to talk about? Hold on.
Lawyer hat. You wanted to talk about.
I don't know. What do you want?
You want to talk about Title IX?
Yeah. Did you?
Lawyer hat.
Did I don't know if people. This came down late last week,
right?
And I think it's a big, big deal. The universities and colleges must be doing backflips. Basically, we all agree with Title IX. The concept of Title IX is wonderful.
Sure.
Right? My issue for the decades is implementation. I don't think there's a way to implement it without being not fair.
In the context of money, you mean, in the NIL? Because it's been with scholarships for years.
Well, money, scholarships, number of sports.
Right.
The women's. It's all a great concept.
Yeah.
The implementation stuff. Well, what came out late last week around the NIL, and we're coming up on the designated salary caps. Basically, schools are going to have to designate right at $21 million to pay their athletes, and it just came out last week. And help me with the legalese and all, but the Biden administration said Title IX does apply if you start giving out salaries.
Right.
It's got to be equal across the board.
Right, which is kind of intuitive. I mean,
which got knocked down.
Well, just new administration, new rules.
New administration came in and basically said, no. These universities should be able to pay how they see fit in terms of revenue producing versus not, and work it down.
Yeah, capitalism.
Meaning, if the Biden mandate was still in place, you couldn't pay DJ Lagway $150,000.
Right, without finding somebody
without
on the
paying
female side.
Susie Lagway The,
Doesn't have to be someone with the same name, though.
Yeah, doesn't.
It's not that much parity.
But I think that's a big win for the universities. They're not forced to pay. They can designate their revenue-producing sports and athletes and pay them appropriately, proportionately. Pick it up.
Yeah.
What am I trying to say?
No, you're saying it well. It's like anything else. It depends what you're solving for. If you're solving for gender equity, if you think that's the most important thing, then it's not a good result. If you're solving for how do we compete in a name, image, and likeness, domain where money is going to determine who are the haves and who are the have-nots, and you use that money to figure out who's the best player to pay and put the best product on the field, well then obviously that's, as you say, a big win for people that want to see the best product and obviously for those athletes. Obviously, I shouldn't say obviously, because I mean last year we saw that women's basketball is pretty darn marketable, but for the most part you're talking about men's football and men's basketball,
and that's pretty much it.
And maybe you throw women's basketball in now if that wasn't aberrational.
I think I saw where a lot of your schools are thinking about 5% of that $20 million to all the other sports, and then the bulk going to football and basketball.
Yeah.
But those are the only revenue-producing sports.
Right.
Hey,
if that's the answer. I mean, we went through the same thing when you think about it, and I haven't thought about it long enough to have an opinion, so I'm sort of trying to state it objectively.
Fair enough.
But if you look at scholarships, and again, do we have student athletes or don't we have student athletes is a big topic and one that doesn't get resolved, and it probably gets blown up by the whole NIL context, at least in the context of the sports where there's NIL money to be had. But forget that NIL exists. What are scholarships? Scholarships are payment. So when you say that Title IX requires that if you're going to give 50 scholarships for the primary men's sports, then you better go find volleyball or swimming or soccer or basketball for the women. If you say it's got to be 50-50, intellectually, logically, intuitively, you'd say, well, if you got $21 million, you better split it down the middle and do the same thing. Obviously, that's just solving for that issue. I wouldn't note, without boring your listeners with legalese, and by the way, I'm a lawyer, which is why we're talking about this. Hey, let's bring on a comedian to talk about Title IX.
Why not? That's funny in itself, right there.
Take the least funny topic. But the other dynamic there is that this is not a legal ruling per se, and I won't get into politics, but what you had with the Biden administration was a recommendation as to how to interpret Title IX in the growing changes that are coming about through the NIL and NIL rulings, and now what you have from the Trump administration, as you do in so many areas with the Biden administration, is a different interpretation.
See, we don't like to talk a lot of politics here, but 2 or 3 things with the administration change. This Title IX is a massive deal, and the male, female.
Sure, the gender.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, that was one of the first things President Trump said. No.
Yeah.
You're going to play where your biological sex tells you you're going to play. Right?
Yeah, and ultimately, those things I have to believe, and no guarantee, but I believe both of those things, Title IX and women in men's sports, men in women's sports, and whether transgender characterizations change that will be resolved by the courts. You're talking about laws that are passed by Congress. I'm sure your listeners know about the separation of powers. The Congress passes laws, and the executive branch enforces the laws, and the judicial branch interprets them. And what's happening right now, and it's happened at other times during history, is that you've got an executive branch that's saying, I'm just going to change the law, or at least I'm going to change the interpretation and the enforcement of it so much, and the courts will determine whether or not they've stepped out of bounds. You've got courts that have, many of the judges have been appointed by this administration, many of them not. So time will tell, but I think both, I wouldn't count those chickens just yet.
And one of the, again, let's don't get too political, but one of the other issues that jumps up to me is we really don't have any moderates anymore.
Yeah.
So 4 years from now, if the other side gets back in, you start at zero.
Right.
And so, and I don't know if that's the best way to do it.
Well, I mean, if you
And I'm blaming both sides. When they get in,
yeah.
whack, whack, whack.
Right. Everybody loves efficiency unless it's the other side's efficiency.
Yeah.
And these are precedents that'll happen. And there's not a lot of moderates, not a lot of compromise, just a lot of culture wars. And
Red wins now. Wait till blue gets in. Blue wins now. Wait till red gets back.
Well, and some of that depends on where you live. You go to certain
true.
cities and certain states, and it's
True.
just getting more and more divisive, which is what's so great about sports. We can fight about it, and we still love each other, don't we?
And, I always say it's sports. I know there's big money. Let's keep you here for a little bit, Ben, and we're going to keep Mike Freed for a little while. Can you hang around until the bottom of the minute?
Sure. I kind of like when we're out on, what do you call it, when we go other places?
On remote.
Because usually I get a drink, but I get nothing here.
Yeah, no, you get nothing here.
No bourbon
you don't like
in
it.
this place. Can you even drink on air?
Yeah, sure you can. Sure you can. Ben's in there drinking right now, aren't you? Ben, put it down. Real quick, and we won't stay on the Title IX that long in the NIL. I think this is all going to work out. I think we're in a guinea pig period.
Sure.
The athletes will become employees soon, and that's going to help.
Yeah.
You understand the NFL has NIL.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence can go cut any deal he wants, but he's making so much money.
Right.
But they have it. These athletes, they've got to become employees.
Yeah.
And then you can have unions. And I've kidded around, but I mean this.
Mm-hmm.
College athletics is trying to, obviously, it's professional athletics.
It's
professional athletics.
Remember, you're talking about the best of the best.
Yeah.
Like, the Jacksonville University, whatever, lacrosse team. Maybe not, right?
Yeah.
Are they professional athletes?
Yeah.
Some of them may make a little money.
But being professional athletes, once you start paying them their employees,
right, then
they get unionized, and I think all this works out. The reason the NFL works is you've got the owners here, and you've got the NFLPA here, and they're right. They argue for things. They want to play an extra game. Well, they got to give something for game 18.
Yeah,
I think this is all going to work itself out. We're in the guinea pig stages with no rules right now,
and
there'll be rules.
It's like artificial intelligence. It's been really quick change, really quickly. Really significant change really quickly. And, we've got general managers being hired, by the big schools to manage the salary.
See, I've never been I'm one of the few people that, on occasion, defends the NCAA.
Yeah.
And a lot of people love to rip the NCAA. Oh, they should have done that. Well, the NCAA, they should have been ahead of this. They should have been paying these players. They should have been way. Well, wait a minute. The NCAA was formed to govern amateur athletics,
right?
Not professional. That's totally against their bylaws.
Yeah.
That would be like me saying, Mike, you and your family have been in the roofing business for 150 years.
Right.
Tomorrow, you got to start doing plumbing. Well, we don't do plumbing. We do roofing.
Yeah,
so I don't feel as, well, the NCAA, they deserve this. They dropped the ball. Well, they were formed to run amateur athletics.
Right. It's a different product. And
I've said for years, Mike, and I halfway kid, but I mean this.
Then you can't halfway kid.
College athletics, you settle down. College athletics is really trying to really feel its way through here. Just about everything and I'm talking football and basketball, the big boys, big boy sports. Yes, I hear what you said a minute ago. College football is right now trying to figure out salary cap, free agency. We can go on and on. You know what they're trying to figure out? Everything that this league called the NFL has done.
Yeah.
Why not? I think the NFL should run college football. They should pay the NFL $1 billion. They've done it. They've figured out salary cap and free agency and reverse order and playoffs. They figured it out. The college athletics, they'll follow what the NFL does.
Yeah, I mean, two things.
Make any sense?
It makes a lot of sense. Certainly, there's things to be learned by analogy. First, I don't think the NFL would want it. Right now, they have a free farm league. Why would they want to spend money on a farm league?
No. College athletics should pay the NFL $1 billion to run. Say, hey, we've done it. We here's the blueprint.
Yeah, that could happen.
You know?
I mean, the other challenge is, and obviously, I'm not the sports fan you are. I mean, this is what you do for a living. But the thing that I like about sports is just the ability for really exciting things to happen, because you've got amazing athletes playing next to less than amazing athletes that are still really good. You've got teams that have a certain amount of parity, and once you bring money into it, and only certain schools are going to be able to compete at that level, it's really going to change the game, both within a team and between teams. And I don't know, it may make it less interesting for people like me that are casual fans.
Maybe. Second break. When we come back, you got some topics you want to get to, Mike Freed. Contractual writers?
Yeah, it's bringing my legal and comedic sense together.
Let's do that.
All right.
Let's do that on the other side. He is Mike Freed. I'm Terry Norvelle. We'll come back, kick around some other topics. We are out of bounds in the sports world. A little bit later, about 5:35, I believe, Brent Beard will join us, and we'll get back into what a weekend of SEC basketball. What a conference right now. Just means more. Have you heard that in the SEC?
I have heard that.
We thought football.
Yeah.
We think now basketball.
Yeah.
Just means more. Just means more. Let's take a break, come back, talk some stuff with Mike Freed on the other side.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Rick's Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Rick's Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Rick's Jack's Beach.
For over 20 years, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists has been providing the highest level of orthopedic and spine care to patients throughout Northeast Florida. Now, we're making that same great care even more convenient with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists Direct, a walk-in clinic where you can be seen for pain or injuries with no appointment needed. Staffed by orthopedic physicians and specialists, we offer everything from diagnosis and treatment to imaging and bracing, all with no appointment needed. For more information, hours, and locations, visit our website.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dynamic Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jacks to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jacks in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jacks 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms. Whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV, you can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry, we still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jacks 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
Summertime means sizzling sales at Nimnick Buick GMC. The #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville has lots of inventory to choose from with their best price guarantee. Nimnick never charges above MSRP. You can save up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierras or get rates as low as 1.9%.
You know, I'm a truck guy. GMC Sierra, my trim level is an SLT. This one's an Elevation. Pretty good looking color as well. So here at Nimnick Buick GMC, you have a lot to pick from. My father-in-law, he drives this, an Enclave, so I feel like that GMC in the family. 2025 is coming around the corner, which means it's almost time to close out those 2024s this summer.
You can schedule a test drive at NimnickBuickGMC.com, and while you're there, check your trade value and customize your payment options. Nimnick is there for you, even on Sundays. Visit the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at NimnickBuickGMC.com. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
All right, back we are. That guy right there is Mike Freed. He has promised he's going to make us laugh.
Oh,
you are going to make us laugh. You're our comedian,
it's
counselor.
Only if life makes you laugh.
Yeah.
It's like, I could talk about things that are amusing and funny, but, you got to be in the right mood. What I was going to talk to you about, because I was trying to think of something amusing and current or contemporary to talk about, but that also, in this case, I wear my lawyer hat, is that a lot of athletes will get riders in their contracts. You've heard of famous musicians saying they want the just blue jelly beans in their dressing room, that kind of stuff. But sometimes the riders go the other way because of what the teams for athletes are afraid of. And I did a little research and found a number of them. So I'm going to share some of them with you about some athletes that you know, some you don't, that just had funny provisions. But I want you to be thinking, Terry Norvelle, about if you were a professional athlete and you were so close. I mean, so close after your baseball career ended at Jacksonville University.
I was.
Yeah. What would you want in your contract? Aside from just a great salary and all that stuff.
Chicks.
I don't know if you can contract for that. That's human trafficking, Terry. They frown on that. And then, on the other hand, what would the team need to say? Hey, Terry, we're worried about you doing this. We're going to put this provision in. So, for example, just to set the stage, Michael Jordan, when he played in the minor leagues for baseball, not even as a professional basketball player, but for baseball, his contract prohibited him from riding motorcycles or engaging in hazardous activities, including hot air ballooning. So he could not go on a romantic hot air balloon picnic for fear of violating his minor league contract. So that would be an example. That's probably not uncommon. I mean, I'll get to some of the others, but some of them you've probably experienced. There was, and sorry, I'm going to mispronounce some of these names. I'm sure you know them, but Carl Pavano, Yankees pitcher.
Yeah, I remember him.
He had a clause in his contract that explicitly banned him from traveling to space. He couldn't go into outer space because it'd be hard to get to the game on time if you were.
Now, do you think these were just out of left field, or had they read his yearbook from high school and he said, "Man, I can't wait to go into space"?
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, nowadays.
Same with Jordan. You think Jordan had a bunch of dalliances up in the hot air balloon? Or?
Yeah, I don't know. My research only revealed these clauses as it relates to these individuals. So it's not like everybody on that minor league team couldn't hot air balloon. It was just Michael Jordan.
Now, if they came to you and you represented that guy,
right,
and they said, or even Jordan said, "Hey, we want to write in no hot air balloons," are you going to say, "Well, what's in it for me?" Before it's
all about leverage.
I want an extra $5,000. I want to. I mean, right? Or
it's about leverage. But
do I get a better parking spot for this if you're going to write in no hot air balloons?
I mean, sometimes it's about negotiating and leverage. Oftentimes, it's about like I'd go to Michael Jordan. I would say, "Hey, do you care about riding in hot air balloons?"
Yeah.
And if he's like, "Oh, I love it, we do it every Thursday," well, then that's worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
If he's like, "I'm afraid of heights," then I'm like, we probably don't need to negotiate too hard on that one because you don't care. You're not giving anything up.
I do some work down at the arena on the logistics side.
Right.
And
so popcorn, as I recall.
Yeah, popcorn. Get your peanuts, popcorn. It's pretty good, isn't it?
It's really good.
I can remember some of the guys that have come through, some of the big acts. Was it... Who's the little guy? Not Justin Timberlake. Younger guy than Justin Timberlake, real famous.
Oh, Bieber.
Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
Yes. I think it was him. On his tour, they have to...
a lot of hair products.
A Miss Pac-Man game and a hot tub has to be delivered into his...
Sometimes I think those guys are just messing with people.
I do. I feel that way.
Yeah.
And the guys I work with down there when I work some shows.
Right, just see what they can get.
I think a lot of stars get to that level, and they or their stage, their handlers feel like they have to ask for stuff.
Yeah, at the Comedy Zone, which is no arena, but, we get some comedians coming through there. And I remember when Fred Posen owned it, he would share some of the riders that the people like T.J. Miller, who's a pretty big comedian, was the headliner coming through. And he needed to have a new pair of a certain type of sneaker for each show, and then a white T-shirt provided. So these things had to be waiting for him when he got there. Different folks have...
A buddy of mine also, he is, and I won't say his name, he's pretty well known in town.
Can you say what his name rhymes with?
No. He's a pretty big entertainer, music guy. So
does his name rhyme with Hickett? No, I'm just kidding.
No. But anyway, He digs the entertainment world. He's
Right.
been a worker down there for a long time.
Got
and
it.
He's, excuse me.
Jokes you up to talk
He is.
about it.
He's basically the runner.
Yeah.
And he gets all kind of neat stuff.
Sure.
I
Some
mean,
legal, some not so legal.
Yeah, Elton John will say on the spur of the moment he does all kind of picking them up at the airport and
bring me fried lizards or something like that.
Yes. What else you got? That's pretty cool.
All right. Yeah. So that one went the other way. Okay. This one's interesting. A.J. Burnett, a pitcher for the Marlins, had a contract that explicitly banned him from eating pizza. Could not eat pizza. So you kind of figure out where that one might have come from.
Yeah.
Obviously, the team was committed to his
bastard.
diet, but you wonder how narrow did they get? Like, could he eat garlic knots? Could he eat?
Yeah.
Could he eat pretzels? It's.
But I would imagine there's a trade-off in this. Hey, man, if you want to put this in here,
right? Give me more money.
Yeah, or something, right?
Yeah, I mean it's interesting because not too many people get paid to do things that are healthy for them.
Yeah.
Right. Like if somebody paid, how much would someone have to pay you to not eat pizza?
Oof. Like me some pizza.
Right.
Like me some pizza.
Right, but I mean, you're not a Major League Baseball type of money.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have to pay you $1 million to not eat pizza.
Not much. I could tough it out.
$1,000 a year, would you stop eating pizza?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know your price.
Yeah.
All right. This one was interesting. Sorry, I will definitely. Rick Mirror, who's an NFL quarterback. Did I pronounce that right?
Meyer.
Meyer. See, I know.
Former Notre Dame guy.
Yeah.
Does it have anything to do with leprechauns or anything?
Well,
Lucky Charms.
Implicitly, because he had a clause that banned him from engaging in, quote, bizarre activities off the field.
Who determines that?
Well, again, you could define these things. I mean, a lot of...
have you ever drawn up a contract like this? Kind of fun?
I've drawn up contracts that have moral turpitude provisions, which we're all familiar with, right? You go, that's when these players wind up, doing stupid things, immoral things, like beating up their girlfriend or something like that. Those are usually, they have a right to terminate the contract, get them out of their bonuses and guarantees based on the moral. And same for executives in business.
This level of an athlete that you're talking about,
yes,
is their peak years are their 20s and 30s, and we do fun, exciting things much more in our 20s and 30s,
right,
than we do in our 50s and 60s,
yeah,
or older, right? So, I mean.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, watch this. That's more of a 25, 26, right?
Yeah, I mean, some of them are designed to be, to influence your conduct. Like, I can't do this because I don't want to lose money or I don't want to lose my job. Others are designed to be punitive. Like, if you do something stupid, then they get out of their contractual obligations.
And nowadays, man, with cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, the old days, before there was a bunch of cameras, you might have had a no skateboarding clause in your Major League Baseball contract or no dirt bike. But I mean, if you could tell a pretty good story, nobody had a camera on your ass.
Yeah.
Now, man, there's cameras everywhere.
Yeah, not only cameras, but it seems to me, back to politics, but also in athletics and in celebrity in general, there was a decorum. There was a, we're not, yes, this person is having this affair with this person, or yes, this person, is a drunk, but we're not going to photograph them when they do that. We're not going to tell that story.
Or business hours. Remember that? The famous sports writers would literally go on the train with the Yankees and the Phillies and all, but it was kind of understood, man.
Right.
After the game.
Off the record.
Yeah, off the record, having a steak and cocktails. Well, you're going to run into Jane Mansfield, who, wait a minute, that's Mickey Mantle's not her husband.
Right.
But that happened at 10 p.m.
Right.
Not noon.
Yeah, and then now it's the exact opposite. There's paparazzi. There's you can make some real money. You could have
it's understood. There's
right.
money out there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, if you have a young son or somebody, a daughter who's going to be a famous athlete or a celebrity at all, the best thing is just whatever crazy you're going to do it inside your house with people you trust. You want a few more of these?
Yeah, of course.
So this was interesting, and I'm not going to go where this could take you. I'll leave that for you. But Sammy Sosa played for the Cubs, of course.
Sure.
His contract reportedly included a clause discouraging, I don't know how you discourage, excess tanning.
Oh, and he's having some coloration.
Oh, really?
Differences. He's kind of bleached his skin.
Oh, interesting. So maybe it was.
Where will? It's such a deep question, I think, but the gambling.
Mm-hmm.
The door's been kicked down. The NFL, once they kicked it down and started taking the money, gambling's not going away in our sports
gambling on the sports, not the athletes themselves.
But it's just so awkward. The athlete cannot gamble necessarily on his team, himself, his performance, yet the venue can be called FanDuel, and the venue can be, you can be sitting in the Hard Rock Stadium, and man, it's a blurred line.
Well, I don't know if that one's so blurred. It's if you're saying that sports is condoning sports gambling on the one hand, I mean, keeping people that have an outcome or have the ability to earn money and also influence the result from gambling is arguably consistent with promoting gambling. Because if you
don't you want that athlete gambling on himself? To win, if you said,
well,
you can gamble,
he is
only
gambling
to
on
win.
himself because he has a contract.
If you're gambling to win, aren't you going to play? I'd rather know that every one of those guys wearing Cincinnati Red uniforms are gambling for the Reds to win tonight.
Well, sure, if that's your alternative, but not gambling and just having an honest desire and goal because it's their job. Is probably the cleanest way to do it because, of course, you can bet against. And there's the old expression that I'll clean up for the purpose of your listeners. You don't poop where you eat. And so I think that's that's one of the dynamics that are going on there.
Bouncing around a couple more minutes with Mike Freed. We let off the segment with your ultra marathon. Do you work your running into, like, will this be part of your bit a little bit? Was there anything funny from 100-mile?
I thought of some jokes while I was running, but I think I was oxygen deprived, so I'm not sure they're actually funny. But sometimes I do comedy at a couple different sort of, you call them corporate events. One would be lawyer gatherings, where I might focus more on lawyer jokes. And then
Are you the best in shape attorney in Duval County? Right now, as we speak, are you the best?
I'm sure that's not true. I could probably run the furthest.
Could you arm wrestle and win? Could you? Are you the greatest decathlete attorney? Is there a competition for that?
There's no competition, and remember, I'm 56 years old.
Who's close to you? Is there anybody close to you?
I'm sure some 26-year-old who I don't know.
How about is there one ultra female attorney in town that just?
Oh, there's some really good athletes. There's BJ Taylor, who's over at the Harrell & Harrell firm, who's a wonderful ultra athlete.
Do you do the biking and all, the swimming, biking, running thing?
I have not done the triathlons. I wouldn't mind trying it, but I'm not a very good swimmer.
Deep water. I'm not big on deep water.
I'd hate to drown in one of these things.
That's not
That'd
cool.
be anticlimactic.
Yeah, did you have to sign something before you did the heart attack?
You always signed some sort of I did one of these Tough Mudders once, and you know what their waiver said at the top?
No.
They called it a death waiver.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, so you had to agree that you could die, and then they light you on fire, and then they electrocute you. Which I'm not even joking.
Why are they just for the heck of it? Why would they do that?
Well, the theory on these Tough Mudders, and I forget what the other one's called, is that they put these obstacles up every mile in a 10 or 15-mile run. Some is climbing, some are monkey bars, some are going through a pit of mud. But at least the ones I've done, they have these basically tasers that are hanging down over water, and you have to run through the shallow water that have hay barrels stacked and things of that sort while you're getting electrically shocked. So that's no fun. And then the other one is you have to go down like some slides on some hoops that are caught on fire, and you kind of tend to lose your eyebrows.
Nuts, man.
I only did 2 of those, and I was done. I decided my age and chronology was enough of an obstacle.
What's your next comedy gig?
I got one this Wednesday down at what's this place called? Paper Root in St. Augustine.
Never heard of that.
If you're listening in St. Augustine,
Paper Root
in St. Augustine. Paper Root ROOT.
Like a paper boy root throwing papers. Remember the old days? We were talking about newspapers today.
Yeah, I don't think I had a newspaper.
Remember the day?
Root. No, I don't think it's ROUTE. I think it's like a root of a tree.
Paper. Okay.
When you think about it, all trees are kind of paper roots.
Yeah. We were talking about somehow at lunch today. Was with a group, and we got talking about the old newspaper and how Americana, particularly the Sunday paper around the family.
Loved it.
I mean, it was a big deal. And who's got the sports? Where's the Metro? You know?
Yeah. The classifieds were fun to read. The comics.
The weddings, the obits, the
we're
comics.
Taking the comics and the little silly putty.
Silly putty?
Yeah. Your younger listeners don't have any idea what we're talking about right now.
You'd put the silly putty and it'd capture the image, kind of.
I have a bit I tell where, I talk about newspapers, and then I'm like, hey, if you remember newspapers, it may be time to get a colonoscopy.
Yeah, it should be right there. The newspaper was a big deal in this country.
Yeah, there's not.
Jacksonville had 2.
Times Union, I assume, was a merger of two papers, maybe? Like the Times and the Union?
There was there was an afternoon and a morning. Jacksonville Journal was your afternoon.
I got
How about way before this city even thought about an NFL team, there were two papers.
Yeah. Well,
I remember as a kid, I'd get up, we're talking 6th, 7th grade. I can remember my mom rousting me for school, and I'd sleepily walk, and my mom's already got the paper sitting there and some Pop-Tarts or something. And, man, I went to the sports page, obviously, but the newspaper was a big deal, man.
My first job, newspaper delivery person, Washington Post up in the D.C. area.
Nice.
And they delivered the Times, too, on
Did
the side.
you put them on your handlebars and ride them?
Handlebars. I would wear the front and back little, I don't know what you call the thing, but I ultimately was
Were you
promoted.
good at throwing them?
I was pretty good at throwing them, but I got to a really good gig where I was delivering in a senior living facility. So when it was cold and snowy outside, I just had to get inside. And the only challenge was we had to run our own business. We had to collect the money. So I'd have to go back at night, and unfortunately, not all of the old people made it month to month.
Yeah.
And I had to eat
Need
that.
to get them prepaid.
Yeah, you weren't allowed to ask for prepayment.
Or ask them to write you in their life insurance or something, right?
I believe.
A buddy of mine across the street was the paper guy.
Yeah.
And you're right. He had to collect and all. And every day at like 3:45, the truck would pull up and he had to wrap them and get going. I was more lawn mowing guy.
Okay, that's a good gig.
More lawn mowing guy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
$5.
You're implicit in that is that your father would let you use his lawnmower for you to go make money.
Yes.
My dad would not do that.
No, I got to, walk and can on the lawnmower and walk and knock. And you had some recurring yards.
You were door-to-door lawnmower.
Oh, yeah, but you had some recurring ones. And, Mrs. Wilson across the street, her kids were grown, so she'd end up feeding you, too. Feed you breakfast.
That's pretty good, yeah.
And I can remember occasionally you could really knock out some money quickly if Mom would be nice enough to let me load the lawnmower, and she'd take me just across like Lane Avenue and drop me off. You could do this way back then at the trailer park. And you could do those little guys in like, you just knock on doors and say, hey, $2, I'll do your yard. Yeah, go ahead.
Huh.
Not a minute.
They have yards in the trailer park.
Little ones. That's what I say. You can knock those suckers out and tell Mom to come pick you up in about 3 hours. And
that's interesting. You spend all your money on meth, which was,
oh, absolutely. You're already in the trailer park.
It was interesting, though, that when you think about it with my own kids, I have 5. A lot of these jobs we really subsidized because your parents were buying the gas.
Yep.
Your parents were providing the mower. Did you have to rent the mower from
them? No. Just to get me out of the house was good.
Yeah.
That was paying enough for my mom.
All right. That makes sense. My daughter does the lemonade stand. She wants to do a yard sale now. She wants me to invest in advertising and signs. I'm like,
how old is she?
She's almost 16. She's very entrepreneurial, but she's not appreciative of the fact that those are hard costs that need to be recouped.
Yeah, they don't see that.
Yeah.
They don't see that. Has she figured out, or have you taught her, ATMs are not just scattered around the country for free money stops?
Yeah, they're like slot machines.
She's figured that out. Mine for the longest time.
I won.
Yeah, mine for the longest time thought, man, somebody's awful. Dad, just go to the ATM.
Right.
Just go to the ATM.
There's money. You have more checks. You must have more money.
Go to the ATM.
Yeah.
So, all right, get out of here. We got to talk some ball with Brent Beard. Good to hear from you. I'm glad you made it through your ultra marathon.
Right.
We had some money. We were hoping you'd get 101 miles.
Yeah.
How far did you go?
100 and a half. Brent Beard, is he like ZZ Top? He's the one beard without a beard?
Yes, beard with no beard.
I got it.
Brent Beard with a twin brother, Brett Beard. Looks just like him.
Does that Brett have a beard?
No. They are the clean-cut ZZ Top
they are
brothers.
So ironic.
Right, there you go. All right, let's talk some ball with Brent Beard on the other side. Brent or Brett, who knows? We'll talk ball with him. Busy SEC weekend. We'll get into that. And kind of look ahead. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Boy, this race is coming down to the wire. Going to be a lot of fun. Terry Norvelle and you on the other side.
At Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, we know pain and injuries can stop you from doing what you love. This is why our board-certified orthopedic specialists offer the latest in both non-surgical and surgical treatment options and create a treatment plan tailored to your unique lifestyle and goals. So, whether it is a sports injury or that nagging pain that's keeping you from doing what you love, our team has the right treatment for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Rick's Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Rick's Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Rick's Jack's Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
The Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network is streaming. I'm Stuart Weber, and I'm here to teach you a nice three-step process on how you can watch all your favorite programming from the Brent and Austin Show every weekday 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. or the Cup Date with me. It's fantastic. We talk NASCAR. It's a great time. Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. All right, first step, easy. Download the Action News Jacks app. You probably already have it downloaded on your phone, so you might already have that one taken care of. Step 2, see that stack of pancakes up there? You click that stack of pancakes, and it's going to bring down step number 3, which is a full screen of all the different streams that you can click on, including the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 stream. You click that, the video's rocking and rolling on your mobile device. You're watching all the shows you want to, and you're having a good time. You can also do it on your smart TV with the Action News Jacks Now app. I do it on my Samsung TV at home. It's a great way to watch it on a nice, large screen for all the content. That's the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Hope you can find it.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242.
You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing.
Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Maybe you need a new tankless water heater or something a bit more intricate. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
All right, we are back live on the Young and Norvelle Show. Patrick should join us tomorrow. He'll be en route to Charlotte for his SEC media studio work. And Pat, obviously nobody knows the SEC basketball race like Patrick Young. He's on it every Tuesday, Wednesday as we're coming down the, last 2.5 weeks, I guess, of the regular season. Brent Beard should be joining us now as we want to really dive back into the weekend that was. When you talk college basketball, Brent, you got to lead off with SEC. Another hellacious weekend of SEC basketball.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Obviously, the headliner was Auburn, Alabama, and Tuscaloosa. Game day was there.
Yeah.
So it was frankly the talk of the SEC, but this conference is so good right now that everybody's almost the talk of the SEC. Really it just really kind of depends. So I thought the Tennessee win over Vanderbilt was huge for them.
Big win for Tennessee.
I almost texted you at one point in that game and said, Terry, here we go again with this point where Tennessee just can't score.
No.
And look, Tennessee was down double digits.
Huge. They were down huge early, and Tennessee is fighting tooth and nail not to get passed by Texas A&M. I mean, Tennessee, people forget Tennessee was 14-0, ranked number 1 in the nation. And I think if they can hold on, I think they could still get a 2 seed. If Tennessee gets a 3 or higher, I think that's going to be a little disappointing for the Vols.
Yeah, I agree. But if that happens, it's going to be because they just can't score.
Can't put the ball in the
That
basket for a long
that's
period.
and look, they had Dalton Connect last year, and that covered up a lot of this.
Yeah.
They don't have him this year, and that is bringing in, frankly, a problem for them. But again, Kentucky's up and down.
Yeah. That was a real nice win for Texas. Really
It
nice
really
win.
was, wasn't it? There's no doubt about that. And Missouri continues to play well. You've got a lot of teams that have got a 5-game winning streak. And I can tell you one thing: Alabama's going to have a really tough time Wednesday night if they don't man up going to Columbia.
Yes.
But one of the more bizarre things of the season is Alabama actually plays better on the road than they do at home.
I saw some of those numbers that you sent out, and that was nuts. That was nuts, and that's such a sample size. It's more than a coincidence. I mean, it's a sample size now. Mississippi State had a real nice win. Ole Miss had turned it around and started playing good ball, and State, I think, went on the road, and I watched a lot of that game. That was a big win for Tennessee. They needed because basically the same tip-off time A&M was winning their game at the same time. Nice win. Boy, I thought Auburn dominated that game the other day with Alabama, though, for the most part. I know Bama tied it at 65, but I never, after it got started 9-0, I thought Auburn just was businesslike and went in and they hit a bunch of big shots and just kept that crowd out of it for the most part.
The only team that can really beat Auburn right now is Florida.
Yeah.
And the reason they can beat them is Florida has the bigs in order to do it.
Yeah.
See, in Auburn, what Florida did, and people can't forget this, but they bowed up. They really, and you probably remember this, Florida played them chest to chest.
Yes, they did.
They were able to get right in their grill. They were able to challenge Auburn's bigs, and even under the basketry, there were several baskets that Auburn missed simply because Florida distracted them inside, and that's why right now, if Florida can get healthy with their bigs, Florida's got a real shot at the Final Four, if not winning the whole thing.
I'm not sure anybody's better than Florida.
And they may not be.
I've seen them all, and health being something. And let's say everybody across the country is healthy. On a neutral court, I think Florida's the best team I've seen in the country.
Yeah, I would agree. Now there have been times like when Alabama went to Texas and they were shooting well.
Yeah,
they could play as well as anybody in the nation, but they've still got problems that they've got to work out. But I would agree with you. I mean, I think right now Florida and Auburn are the two best teams in the conference.
You know, you look at a team like Alabama and their outside shooting versus a team like Tennessee, you still know that Alabama's got a 13 three-point shot make in them, right? They could go and make 13 three-point shots in the snap of a finger.
Oh, yeah.
I think Tennessee, it would be a fluke if they did that.
It really would be.
You know, I mean, they could do it, but it would be a fluke. Alabama, though, they got that big boy, number 8's back. That's a big body. He's not ready yet, I don't think. I can't think of his name. The big kid, big body.
Yeah, the Sherrill kid, who you're talking about. Yeah.
But you mentioned Florida. Not that you're scared of anybody, but if the Gators and Auburn can just hold serve, and they both get a 1 seed, well, if that happens, you're not playing each other in the second round.
Correct.
You would play each other in the Final Four minimum, maybe the championship game, and then all bets are off. You take your chances on Saturday night or Monday night. You know, Final Four. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
but I would run if I played if Florida and Auburn play again, and I don't really count Nashville. I'm not so sure how serious the big boys are going to take the tournament, the SEC tournament. But if Florida and Auburn played again, Final Four, Elite Eight, Final Four.
Yeah.
Man, I think if everybody's healthy, Florida just runs a bunch of bigs at Broome, and there's a good chance they get him in foul trouble.
There is. There really. And look, he's not healthy yet. You probably noticed that on Saturday.
Absolutely.
He's on health yet. Now, one thing that came out a few minutes ago is Auburn basically, and this came over the weekend with the committee doing this exercise that they've now done every year. But the committee, when pressed for further details, said Auburn right now has they would have to lose not one but two games before they came off the 1 seed.
I tell you, man, I've done it. You've done it. Fans that haven't done it, go pull up Auburn's entire schedule.
Yeah.
And it is shocking how many good teams they've beat this year.
It is.
I mean,
yes,
they've beaten Alabama and they've beaten Tennessee. We know about these guys.
Mm-hmm.
They've beaten top 10 Purdue,
Houston,
Iowa State, and Houston is fighting for a 1 seed. They've beat Houston. Yeah. They have beaten. Now because of a tournament, they went out and played one of those overseas tournaments too.
Right.
They've got to play a lot of teams. But they have beaten a lot of top 15 teams.
And Terry, they almost beat Duke.
Yes, in Duke.
Yes.
In Duke.
Yes. So look, if you've got now here's the reality. Auburn will lose again, but because when you really dig down in their schedule, Auburn and I'm sure Zach is aware of this. South Carolina should have beat Auburn.
Sure.
Auburn had 3 or 4 games to where it was basically one possession game that they won, but yet to their credit, they still were able to win in here. So again, but look, I don't want to harp on this very long. Lord help us. But again, you've got Alabama and Auburn, the game of the week. You've got Houston playing right before them.
Yep.
And that game still delayed 10 minutes.
It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. And you're like, man, no disrespect to Houston. And that was a nice game they played. They beat whoever that was, Arizona, I guess it was.
Yeah.
2 good teams and all, but everybody was waiting all week for 1 versus 2.
That's right.
And I kept looking just like everybody else around the country. You see the little box and you're going, man, we're waiting on 1 versus 2. Get that game out of there. I thought Handlogten played about as well as you could expect. I mean, he's out of wind. He's out of wind.
He sure did.
But he will help that basketball team. I thought he played well. Martin's back. And I thought a good sign for Gator Nation, Condon was on the bench, but he was very active. He wasn't with his leg up. I mean, he's not going to be out that long. You could just tell by looking at him on the bench, couldn't you?
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you one thing, Terry, too, about Florida. I think Broome will win it, but I'm telling you, if Clayton continues to play the way he is, Clayton could be the MVP of the league.
Maybe. If you're Alabama, if you're Nate Oates, you've got a really good team.
Yes,
they're a little bit like Tennessee. There's just something in the timing belt that's off with Alabama. Does Nate Oates tinker with a lineup change right now, or is it too late?
Yes.
Or what do you think happens with Alabama?
No. He's got to do something. And look, the 2 guys who are not really performing the way they need to are Grant Nelson and Mark. And Mark's not either.
Yeah.
And look, that are their 2 best players.
Yeah.
And there's still little things that they do. Look, Grant Nelson, frankly, is a good player, but Terry, he couldn't guard you or me.
No.
As far as defensively is concerned, and Mark Sears dribbles way too much.
Yeah.
Tries to do too much. They need to get something out of their big man Cliff. Mojibidi is tremendous. He may be their best player.
Yeah.
In some ways. But to your point, no, they're not in sync. And to your other point is, they've really got to, for them to be who they really need to be, they need something that they need to hit some threes. This is hard to believe. They shoot better on the road than they do in their own gym. Now, explain to me, and I have no explanation for this. And I've asked many people and you know what I know, a typical team in their own gym, how many shots do they shoot in a week?
Oh,
I mean, 400, 1,000.
Yeah, probably 1,000 shots.
Listen, how in the world, if you're Alabama, can you not
Yeah.
hit shots in your own gym?
Yeah, we don't need to put much time on this, but early in the game, Georgia had a chance, I thought, to score a big win, and they got routed at the end. Mike White being Mike White, I think.
And I'm trying not to be not to hear about this from people, but you just can't help it after a while. They're doing what they do every year. He did it at Florida. He's done it at Georgia. They'll start well, and about this time of year that they just melt, don't they, Terry?
You know, he may have one save the season game against the Gators
Yes.
a little bit later. That
Yes.
could be their final.
Yes.
But yeah, they're just about to play themselves out of it. And boy, you hope you kind of hope South Carolina can find a win. I think they've got LSU again soon. But Arkansas trying to play their way into the tournament. You got Oklahoma, Florida Tuesday. A&M, Mississippi State will be a really nice game.
It is. It is.
And then South Carolina, LSU Tuesday. Wednesday, Vandy at Kentucky. Vandy needs another win. Arkansas at Auburn. You wonder if that might be a little look ahead. And then you talk about Wednesday, Bama at Missouri. That will be a war. And then a full slate. Nobody else is – hey, these weekday games –
that's right.
Off weeks or Saturday. Nope, they're gone. We're all playing now, man.
They are.
Hey, Brent, 2 quick topics. We got 5 minutes. Once again, college football's meeting to talk. You know, but it does look like the SEC and the Big Ten are going to quickly now become the AFC and the NFC.
Yeah.
Doesn't it look like that with college football?
Yes, and we'll get into this as the week goes along. This is incredibly important. The SEC and the Big Ten are meeting Wednesday. Now, the ACC met last week. The Big 12 is supposed to meet next week with their athletic directors. And then the whole kit caboodle gets together at the end, within about 10 days. I think it's the 25th, something like that. In other words, it's the college football playoff. They basically got a general management council or whatever they call them, and what's at stake here is are we going to 12? Are we going to 14 or 16?
Yeah.
And the other two things, and this is really something you and I, this was just created for us. But the other two things involved here are finally if they go to 16. My understanding is the SEC may go to 9 conference games. Finally, we've talked about this for years.
Sure.
And if this happens, and your business acumen is very good, you see what we've seen this coming for a while. There's 2 things here. If they go to 9, can they get more money for adding another conference game from the TV partners?
Right.
And the other thing here, and the thing about how juicy this might be, is if they go to 9 conference games, what that's going to open up is the SEC actually having non-conference games in the Big Ten.
Yes. How nice is that?
And then they go to TV and say, well, boys, we've really upped the ante here.
Yeah.
How much more money can we make?
Yeah. Yeah, love it. Absolutely love it. And no disrespect to the small schools. Well, these little schools, they need the money, they need the funding. Well, if that's not the Division I's, place to run the Division II football budgets. It's just not their
right.
It's just not their place. Brent, we got 2 minutes. This came out late last week, under the radar, I thought, a little bit. But the new ruling now that says Title IX does not have to be implemented across the board with regard to revenue paying.
Yeah.
And I think that's huge, which means if Title IX, according to the Biden administration, they were going to say, no, if you start paying your college athletes out of your salary cap pool, it's got to be fair and equitable across the board. The quarterback of the star football team, he's got to make the same as the second female golfer on the golf team.
Yeah.
That would have been financial nightmare.
Sure, it would have been. There's no doubt about that. Yeah. cooler heads prevailed
Yeah.
in that one. And look, Terry and I are not saying that women shouldn't get paid. We're
Nope,
not saying
not at all.
that at all. But what we're saying is particularly when you're talking about football here, is football pays for all these other sports.
Yep.
People I think know that by now. And if you're penalizing football, you're actually penalizing some of the women's teams too.
Sure you are. Sure you are. And if Title IX was to be carried across the board, right, let me back up real quick. It looks like there's a salary cap now of about $20 million that's going to get enacted. 2021 somewhere.
Yes.
Almost all your Division I schools have pretty much said if we don't have to follow the Title IX guidelines, the way we want to do it is we're going to pay the most to the two big sports, football and basketball.
Right.
And they're going to use about 5%. And now that 5% may need to get bigger a little bit. But Title IX would say, you pay an athlete at Florida, male, female, whatever, lacrosse, football, they're getting the same.
Yeah.
That's Title IX. And that got shot down, and I think that was the right thing to do.
Yeah, I agree. And look, there will be some compensation for women's sports.
Sure.
It may not be exactly what they want yet, and I understand that. And if I've got a daughter and she played lacrosse at Fleming Island High School, and if she wanted to go to the college around, I wanted to see her get something too.
Sure.
But I think she'd be the first one to tell you that Dad, football pays the bills.
Yeah, I mean, if I was still, and we got 20 seconds, when I was playing second base at JU, I certainly shouldn't get paid the same amount as Artis Gilmore if he was taking the JU Dolphins to the championship game. Brent, got to get out of here. Good stuff. Let's get together as the week unfoils and talk a lot of SEC basketball. Thank you, Brent.
Thank you, bud.
That'll wrap it up. We'll get together again tomorrow, 4 o'clock, for the next edition of the Young and Norvelle Show.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Rick's Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Rick's Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Rick's Jack's Beach.
For over 20 years, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists has been providing the highest level of orthopedic and spine care to patients throughout Northeast Florida. Now, we're making that same great care even more convenient with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists Direct, a walk-in clinic where you can be seen for pain or injuries with no appointment needed. Staffed by orthopedic physicians and specialists, we offer everything from diagnosis and treatment to imaging and bracing, all with no appointment needed. For more information, hours, and locations, visit our website.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jacks to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jacks in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jacks 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream same channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms. Whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV, you can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry, we still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jacks 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
Summertime means sizzling sales at Nimnick Buick GMC. The #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville has lots of inventory to choose from with their best price guarantee. Nimnick never charges above MSRP. You can save up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierras or get rates as low as 1.9%.
You know, I'm a truck guy. GMC Sierra, my trim level is an SLT. This one's an Elevation. Pretty good looking color as well. So here at Nimnick Buick GMC, you have a lot to pick from. My father-in-law, he drives this, an Enclave, so I feel like that GMC in the family. 2025 is coming around the corner, which means it's almost time to close out those 2024s this summer.
You can schedule a test drive at NimnickBuickGMC.com. And while you're there, check your trade value and customize your payment options. Nimnick is there for you, even on Sundays. Visit the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at NimnickBuickGMC.com. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC.